In fact, I'm going to give you guys some photos during the break to pull up for people. But the issue is these are dual use. And I had local media then go try to debunk me and go, look, we're out here at the old airport. This is a movie set. Yes, but at the end of it, they have that FEMA camp, and I have Fox News locally admitting it. So, see, that's how straw man works. We'll be right back.
And it's 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn.
But see, in Vietnam, they could have media there to show people what was really happening. Now they're embedded. You can't allow that. Okay, there's a few more minutes left of this disgusting piece. And again, straw man is how they operate. There are 9/11 truth groups that we've tracked back to government operations, most of them. We wish they were just idiots. About no planes hit the towers, holograms,
space beams,
and clearly then the media only focuses on that to discredit us instead of all the real evidence. And it's the same thing here. They go out. This is the same lady that the FLIR footage was out. The fact that they killed everybody at Waco was out. Delta Force in congressional hearings, it was admitted that they were ordered to go in and kill everybody. I was watching the Senate hearings, the House hearing. I couldn't believe it. And then meanwhile, she puts out a video saying the tank was shooting flame out where they photoshopped the CS gas. It was spraying red.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when they did fire incendiary grenades in.
Yeah, that did explode.
So I mean, why did this woman always make crap up, this lawyer? I don't know. But the issue is the fact that they do show these train facilities. That is, they took an old bus depot, Pier 57, which we're going to put up on screen here in a minute, in New York City, and FEMA paid to, and they put 3,000 protesters there, and you try to videotape it, and the police would run up and threaten to arrest you. That's a giant pier with a huge bus terminal in it that goes all the way in, a couple hundred yards, and they had barbed wire inside and the fences. The same thing they had in Austin. That was even on the local news. They said, during a financial collapse or economic emergency or anything else or New Year's parties, we're going to take people out here and bolt them and chain them to the floor, and there's porta potties. And FEMA paid for that under continuity of government. So all of this is admitted. So who knows? There could be something going on at that Amtrak track when she was there 15 years ago, but I doubt that. And she didn't say gas chambers. She says, here you have a building. Here you have new gas system being put in. She doesn't say to gas people, but she could have been implying that the point is that they choose that instead of all the other evidence.
Exactly. This is a video from 15 years ago. Well, if they want to go 15, 20 years back, why not talk about Rex 84 coming up in Iran-Contra and that program? Why not talk about the fact that multiple members of Congress said if they didn't pass the bailout, they were threatened with martial law? Why pick the Amtrak station and the one video out there, the one discredited video? Why do that?
But that's how I was able to predict what they do.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a prayer. I've done all the research. All of this is real. So they're not going to touch this, Jason.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, we've sent all this to Beck.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is that I'm sure Beck is getting 1,001 of these emails today on your presentation alone on these FEMA
Look, he's on 300 radio stations. He's on Fox News. For a month and a half, he's been saying he wants information about the camps. Then he goes to the weasels. And then again, I'm thinking, okay, there's two fake things out there. There's two fake things out there. But see, the one was too real for him. Barbed wire fences, machine gun nests, guard towers, a mock prison camp / refugee camp for troops to train in. See, that would have looked too real for them to go, this isn't really a camp, though it's not really a camp.
Mm-hmm.
So, see, I guarantee you they looked at that, too. I said it'll be that or it'll be the Amtrak train deal.
No, they sent out a crew of photographers, Alex. Everything's okay.
By the way, why would there be big turnstiles, though, because I always thought that was a train facility.
Yeah, why would there be those?
I mean, I'm not saying it's even that, but I mean, it is weird.
Yeah.
So, and that is where they put FEMA camps. In fact, the old timers 20 years ago, we had the executive order saying labor camps, FEMA camps, and all that. But the old timers who'd worked at these facilities said, no, they're at the shut down military bases. Well, then they introduced this bill and say, we're going to turn the old bases into FEMA camps.
Well, even Nazi camps, Alex, people will argue to this day, they had a health spa, or they had an orchestra there. There was a pit for them to play in.
There was a swimming pool for them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's another issue. Germans that lived in towns, in one famous case, above a camp,
mm-hmm.
who could see down into it, didn't believe it was there. They did lie detectors, and they didn't believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have pieces of bone out of the furnaces wafting over, falling on you. It doesn't exist.
Complete denial.
Yeah, and you know, that's the same thing going on today, folks.
But the video told me the girl was being taken care of and she was learning new things and so happy in the camp, Alex. I mean, they literally, those were the newsreels.
Well, let me tell you something. They're taking retarded children, they're taking infirm people, and they're killing them in the U.S., and that's on record. That's the same thing how it started in Germany. So be aware, folks. Be aware we're in deep trouble. Now, let's go ahead and go to the rest of the Glenn Beck video. Here it is. It's just untrue.
No, this video actually dates from about 1995. But like so many of these conspiracy theories, it gets recut and re-edited and circulated around the internet. So some people who are looking at it have no idea what the original source was.
Okay, so the turnstiles are there for, they were there. They're not there anymore?
Right. The turnstiles were just ordinary subway turnstiles that would be familiar to anyone who's ridden the subways in New York. And they were used just to clock in and out their employees. Now they've replaced them with small kiosks that have time clocks.
Who is the woman voicing this?
Her name's Linda Thompson. And back in the 90s, she was one of the leaders of the so-called militia movement. And she made a number of videos.
Wait, this is the militia movement that, what's his name, Timothy McVeigh was involved with?
That's right, yes.
Okay.
And not to necessarily tie her to that, and yet at one point, even many of her fellow people in the militia movement started to move away from her a little bit when she recommended that some of her followers should march on Washington and start executing senators. So, you know,
all right, let's stop there.
Now,
let's stop there. Yeah, she was definitely an operative, but the issue is that, I mean, there's really no doubt of it. She disappeared, you know, into nowhere after all of this, trying to stir up a revolution.
Once you start saying execute senators, I mean, give me a break.
Well, the issue is if she's not a Fed, she would have been arrested.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back. What do you do when it's coming out that the troops were there killing everybody at Waco? You have a lady come out with a fake flamethrower video. Okay. When everybody knows the boom is for spraying gas, it's going to be discredited in 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. That's how you dirty the whole honeypot. It's a turd in the punch bowl. How do you do that with the FEMA camps? Again, that's what this lady always did. And so who are the operatives now using? Now, you notice that in this video, they tie McVeigh to it. Lawsuits were filed. Federal affidavits were filed. It has come out the Southern Poverty Law Center was running the Elohim City white supremacist compound. I mean, this is in major newspapers and Associated Press and all over. I mean, this came out. Is the Trinity case where the lawyer sued and got all this. Also, McVeigh has been videotaped at a base a year after he was in the military. Classic, you know, top of his, you know, did a great job, medals in Iraq.
It's clearly him, too.
Well, yeah, sure. He disappears into special ops. And then later he told Terry Nichols and everybody, I'm a government operative. We're setting up the militia movement. And that's what he did. He traveled to hundreds of militia meetings, hundreds of gun shows. He traveled to Waco. He traveled everywhere. So that and there's no doubting the feds bombed it. I mean, they were caught inside. They had to kill local police that exposed it. Like Cop of the Year, Terrence
Video of a Ryder truck on the Oklahoma City base like a week before the attacks.
Camp Grouper with the military loading fuel oil into it. And police took that. Police were in a small plane.
Guy died.
Obvious, yeah. Well, they killed a bunch of them is the point, yeah. Now, you talk about it, a bunch of cops got killed. So all of that's going on. And the cops knew because they showed up a minute after the bombing, and BATF was in bomb gear telling doctors, patch me up for my injury. We were on the 9th floor, and they're like, you weren't in the building. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you're going to die next week then. And it turned out the BATF was doing drills in New Mexico of blowing up Ryder trucks with ammonium nitrate the month before. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't make this up.
A video of the SWAT team going in with the bomb gear in Road to Tyranny, literally. And let's not forget Frank Keating, the governor, on record talking about...
His brother writes a book where a
Thomas Keating.
Yeah, where a Tom McVeigh bombs a federal building and then martial law.
The Oklahoma City Federal Building, and it's dedicated to the Knights of the Secret Circle.
Which, I mean...
And Keating, his brother, who's the governor, is on 2 different media reports. It's also in your...
removing bombs.
Yeah, Masters of Terror it's in as well, talking about the sophisticated devices that are being removed.
Yeah, exactly. So again, they're tying this all to McVeigh again when that was all part of this myth to police that we got to get a cough button on that mic for you, that this myth to police that patriots are going to kill you, we see in the MIAC report. And that's what's so suspicious about so many of these white supremacist reports where it's tied into the ADL, the Southern Poverty Law Center. Immediately, they accuse me of somehow being involved with this police shooter, and now it turns out I was being attacked by this guy as a Zionist agent.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this is ridiculous.
And only one story so far has retracted. The Pittsburgh Gazette was especially malicious. That was the one I actually called Hooge up yesterday before your show to let you know. Because they don't try to differentiate.
I already talked to the guy.
They don't try to differentiate between you and Stormfront. They want people to believe that InfoWars.com and PrisonPlanet.com are anti-Semitic. In fact, I blogged about it yesterday.
But I mean, that's not going to work. Let's go ahead and finish up with this clip. Here is Glenn Beck.
Apparently.
Yeah, apparently. Okay.
And yet you'll see a video made by someone like that embraced by people from all over the political spectrum without really knowing what the source is or without checking out if it's remotely accurate.
Okay, one last question. I want to show you, take a look at this picture. Can you put this picture up, please? This is another one, and we're going to have you back tomorrow and just answer yes or no. Is this is what they claim, this is a concentration camp?
Yes, it is.
It is. Are there atrocities going on in that camp?
There's every reason to believe there is.
Is this a government-run concentration camp where atrocities, every reason to believe atrocities are going on?
Yes.
Now, tomorrow, I will ask him the one question that the conspiracy people never want to ask.